How about them Cowboys?
Angry Cowboys fan, are you down to ride? Angry Cowboys fan, are you down to ride? Drop a like on the video, go ahead and subscribe.
What's going on, Cowboys Nation and Angry Cowboys fans around the world? Y'all know who it is. It's your man, the Angry Cowboys Fan, here to give y'all 2 videos in just one day. But with OTAs happening, the Dallas Cowboys are getting ready to start training camp to trim off some of the fat for the 2025 NFL roster. While OTAs are happening, interviews and press conferences are happening as well, and you know the crew over at the facility had something to say about it, especially their resident Dallas Cowboys hater, Shady McCoy. During today's mandatory Dallas Cowboys segment, the crew discusses Brian Schottenheimer's statements about wanting to have the best culture in the National Football League. So we're going to take a listen to the 3 clips that I got for y'all, and y'all know what we're going to do after that. We're going to come back and unpack this raw and uncut. So, Angry Cowboys fans, let's go ahead and take a listen to what the crew of the facility had to say about Brian Schottenheimer's wants for this culture.
First thing, right, is like, it's your first coaching job. Nobody really knew much about you. You talking about you want to be the greatest head coach. I'm like, what? We ain't even here to talk about that. You here to do a job first. Before we can get to you talking about this.
Asked a question.
That's the way he answered it. I didn't like it. Okay, there you go. Let's get to it. I hate the whole thing. I still hate the whole thing. No matter who asked questions.
It's a question.
Can I go, bro? Please. God dang. Please. So my issue is with the whole thing I said I hate is because we want to hear the real message. Because the real message is you saying, like, okay, you talk about culture, right? Cool. Culture is like, I'm going to be disciplined, I'm going to be tough, everything like this, that, cool. But none of that matters if you don't really win. You talk about Andy Reid, right? Andy Reid, man, he set the law down, all that. But if we start out another 4 and whatever it is, like, okay, bro, whatever you preach it, it's not getting here because we're not winning. So all that stuff don't even matter. But when you're winning, that's when you create the culture, because when you win, it's like everything he's saying to do, we're doing it and we're winning, so it makes sense. It got to add up. 1 + 1 got to be 2.
Yeah.
So, Shady McCoy, you're meaning to tell me that you need to win before you have culture? Are you putting the cart before the horse? But if you thought that Shady McCoy was going to say something of intelligence, then you must not watch the facility much, do you? After his little diatribe, he went on to blame the entire culture issue on Dak Prescott. For those Dak Prescott haters, you can go ahead and watch the segment and get your rocks off. I'm not going to put it in the comments section, but you can find it. But y'all heard Chase Daniel kind of hem in and hawing about what Shady McCoy had to say. I swear, Cowboys Nation, this guy puts the cart before the horse all the time when it comes to the Dallas Cowboys, and he's putting the cart before the horse when it comes to the culture. For what I'm taking from his analysis is that you have to win in order to create a culture. And this man has played football at the highest level but doesn't understand what it takes to build a culture within a locker room in a franchise? Lord have mercy, Cowboys Nation. But jumping into the second clip, Chase Daniel gives his perspective on the topic. So let's go ahead and take a listen so we can come back and talk about it. Roll the clip.
The reason why I love it, and I know you like it, is because he's trying to get the players to buy in his way.
For sure.
And you have to start somewhere. So he's answering a question, right? If I'm on the team and I'm a star player on the team, Micah or Dak, and I hear him saying, "Oh, we want a crappy culture." Like, what? No, you know, like, you're never going to say that. I'm sure it absolutely starts, like, that's exactly what Andy Reid did, Sean McDermott did. That's what Sean Payton did. It was like, hey, the messaging needs to be consistent. Everyone works toward the same goal, but it starts with the leadership council of the best players. And in the leadership council of the best teams I've ever been on, with Sean Payton and Andy Reid, it's a player-led accountability team. Meaning the players are being like, hold up, no, you didn't do that right. It's not the coach checking you. Hey, run that route at 10 yards. It's Mahomes or stuff like that. So I do think that Dak has that about him. Now, eventually, it has to turn into be like, well, you got to win some playoff games. And I do think it's like, I don't think the culture is an issue. I do think it's a different culture down there because maybe it's not always been about football.
Correct.
It's been about making money. Jerry's one of the greatest businessmen ever.
All right, Cowboys Nation, Chase Daniel is absolutely correct. You have to start somewhere when it comes to culture. He said that the messaging needs to be a constant and that everyone has to work for that same goal, and I couldn't agree more, Cowboys Nation. One thing I don't agree with on Chase Daniel's whole diatribe is the fact that there's not an issue with the culture in Dallas, because there has been an issue with the culture in Dallas for years. We'll talk about that more during my Raw and Uncut portion, so make sure you stick around for that. Now, jumping into the last clip that I got for you, James Jones states the obvious, but he shines a light on the last 30 years. So let's take a listen so we can come back and unpack this Raw and Uncut.
But not only that, though, the Cowboys in the biggest games ain't been playing their best. That's for 30 years. That's it. Tony Romo in the playoffs, not good.
Yeah.
Dak Prescott in the playoffs, not good. And you can say some of the defensive performance is not good. But over the last 30 years, when we are in meaningful games in the playoffs, we not good. It's fumbled snaps on the PAT. It's all type of funny stuff. It's throwing interceptions. They ain't been their best.
Well, Cowboys Nation, I hate to say it, but he's absolutely correct. This not winning stuff hasn't just been happening since Dak Prescott's been under center. It's been happening for the last 30 years. Since the 1996 NFL season, the Dallas Cowboys have had an issue with replicating the magic that they once had back in 1972, 1978, 1993, 1994, and 1996, respectively. For those that counted the season years, it's 1971, 77, 92, 93, and 95. But y'all ready for this Raw and Uncut? Y'all ready? Let's get it. Oh man, I swear, Cowboys Nation, I hate when these talking heads get up there and they talk as if they never played the game before, as if they get amnesia after hanging up their cleats and retiring and becoming talking heads. How can Shady McCoy sit up there and say that the culture doesn't matter? The culture needs to be set up early so that the coaching staff can set up the scheme and the play on the field will establish the team's identity. But then Shady talks about the culture being a quarterback issue. Just like winning and losing is a quarterback stat, it's up to the quarterback to be the one to establish the culture and to enforce it with the team. Anyone who's played a team sport outside of high school understands that the culture of the team trickles down from the front office or the owner of the team to the coaches, down to the players. The front office has to give the coaches a little bit of leeway to make necessary changes to the roster in order to have the best players available. If your front office shows aggression doing their job, then you'll see the aggression trickle down to the coaching staff and on down to the players. It's not rocket science, Shady McCoy. But the front office has to give the head coach and the authority to be the end-all, be-all when it comes to the decision-making in the locker room and on the field. When you, as a player, knows and understands that your coaches doesn't have the final say over the player personnel, how can they actually get behind the coaches 100%? When your coaches doesn't have that final say as to who's going to be dressing for that upcoming game, how can they get behind that, Cowboys Nation? How can the coach establish a culture when the ownership doesn't give him permission to establish said culture? Then to say that the culture relies solely on the quarterback position is just another way for Shady McCoy to put it all on Dak Prescott. Does Dak Prescott have a heavy influence on executing the culture? Oh, hell yeah, he does. Dak Prescott's the first in command when it comes to preaching the culture and trusting the process. But when you don't have a legitimate culture to follow, how in the hell is your QB1 at fault for your unknown culture that isn't followed, Cowboys Nation? And as I stated before, there is the culture that needs to be established. When you establish the culture, you can establish the identity of the team. Are they physical? Are they a finesse team? Are they front runners or are they soft? Then that identity gets split. The defense can have a different identity than your offense and vice versa. Then they give the Detroit Lions as an example, Cowboys Nation. Well, did you see the aggressive trades that they made with Matt Stafford to get a boatload of draft capital? Did you see them hire Dan Campbell and witness Dan Campbell display the same aggression in his play calling? Then, did you see that same aggression from the players on the field? Yes, you did, Cowboys Nation. The same goes with the Philadelphia Eagles. We witnessed their aggression last year during the offseason from the GM and the front office. That same aggression was shown by Nick Sirianni, and it came out on the field with the players. Now, one of those teams had to win in spite of their front office, Cowboys Nation. For decades, the Dallas Cowboys have had to win despite of their front office. And for people to poo-poo what Brian Schottenheimer said about the culture, it's just those same people who want the Dallas Cowboys fans to sit back and say that we suck every single year. Do you know how many times I've heard the Philadelphia Eagles fans say, we're going to the Super Bowl this year? How they're going to repeat this year? Does that make them delusional, Cowboys Nation? Shoot, they even said that it was going to be their year when they slid at the end of the year, losing the NFC East to our Dallas Cowboys. But you don't hear many talking heads attributing that to their team, right? I don't give a shit if I'm on the Cleveland Browns. If I'm a current player, I would be saying that we're shooting for the Super Bowl every single year because that's what we're out here for. We're not here to make it to an NFC championship and that's it. Like every other team in the NFL, we are looking to be the best and try to put in that work to be the best. It's any given Sunday in the league, Cowboys Nation. Just because you won the Super Bowl last year doesn't mean you'll win it again this year. Just ask the Kansas City Chiefs and they'll tell you all about it. So, as far as the topic on the facility, I have absolutely no problem with Brian Schottenheimer wanting to have the best culture in sports because that's what they strive to do. People act as if I can't strive to be a billionaire because I probably won't make it in my lifetime. That doesn't mean I give up on trying. And just because our culture is a little bit outdated doesn't mean that we give up on trying to revamp and renew our existing culture. The way fans of rival fan bases, and even some of our own, the way they act is like you're associated with the Dallas Cowboys, you can't aspire to be better. You can't want something better for this team. If you do, then you're delusional. If you do, then you're drinking the Kool-Aid. People talking about the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over, expecting the different results as if the Dallas Cowboys are the only team to do this. 31 other teams do the exact same thing every single year. Why don't you hear about the Miami Dolphins or the Buffalo Bills? The reason being, no one gives a shit like they do when it's the Dallas Cowboys. But this has been your man, the Angry Cowboys Fan. Cowboys Nation, what do you feel about what Brian Schottenheimer had to say about the culture for the Dallas Cowboys? Do you feel the culture is all on the quarterback's shoulders? Y'all know how we do it. We always talk about it in the comments section. But if you're digging the content and want to help the Angry Cowboys Fan continue to grow past 10,000 subscribers, drop a like on this video and share it with anybody that you know is a Dallas Cowboys fan. If you are DC for life and hope that the Dallas Cowboys can establish a winning culture this year, hit that subscribe button. Hit the bell to be notified whenever I go live, release a video, podcast episode, film breakdown, or Madden 25 or College Football 25 gameplay. The important thing for the Dallas Cowboys to do is to block out all the crap from the outside and just focus on how the Dallas Cowboys team and organization can get better. No more listening to the people who don't have the Dallas Cowboys' best interest at heart. It's time to focus on creating a winning atmosphere so that our Dallas Cowboys can get further than where they've been the past 30 years. But this has been your man, the Angry Cowboys Fan. It's hot, and I'm out. Dang, Angry Cowboys Fan, you done made it through the entire video. But if you want more content, you can definitely go to this video right here. Or if you want the latest episode of the Angry Cowboys Fan podcast, you can go right here. But whatever you do, like, share, and subscribe to the channel, but remain DC for life.